Welcome to the OVEX Podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me, as always, is the tiny terror of teams, Bethany McChesney. And again, I'm tired.
Tired.
All right,
Big weekend for you.
it was. So here's the deal, because we were going to talk beforehand, but I decided screw that. Let's just hit record. So what I did was, because we've been working so much at work and we're needed, right? Anyway, Friday I went in work in the morning. I worked 5 hours, then went straight to the airport and to get my flight. Was all ready to go and it was good. And then we got on the plane and they make an announcement almost immediately after we sit down. We were delayed 2 hours because of weather in Denver. I'm on my way to Anaheim and I have a layover in Denver. So they pull us off the plane, which, is what it is. And then we go back on the plane and then we fly and we head to Denver. So everything's going good on the flight. Nothing bad happens. I land and I look at my phone and I got messages from Ryan, of course, texts and emails from the airline saying my flight from Denver to Anaheim had been canceled.
Oh no.
So I'm like, shit. Because now this is about 8 o'clock at night, right? And originally I was supposed to fly into Denver, have like a 2 hour layover, get on a plane from Denver to Anaheim. So I'm like, okay, I get off the plane and I look on the board and I'm thinking, well, this sucks because normally for a DEKA event, I'm going to be like at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, I'll be at the venue checking everything out, getting ready, helping the first group of volunteers get them all set up. Anyway, and they rebooked me for 7:46 in the morning. So now I'm not even going to leave Denver until like almost 3 hours later than I'm usually there. So I'm like, crap. But I look up on the board and I see this flight leaving at 8:34 because it was delayed from 7 o'clock. So I book it. Like I run across the airport to the point I got to this train. I had to get on a train because it was like completely the other end. I'm hauling. It was great practice for ruck. So I run through, get the train, get there, and I got like 3 minutes, 4 minutes to spare. And I said, "Hey, this is what happened. Can you get me on the plane?" And she goes, "No." I'm like, "Why is there no room?" She goes, "There's room, but we're already in the process of locking everything down and closing the door." I'm like, "Is the door closed?" She's like, "No." And I said, "Well, I can go through the door." And she's like, "No." So, despite my wit and charm, I got shut out. And they did put me up in a hotel. So again, another night in a hotel, courtesy of airlines for me. Um, and then came back in the morning, got on the plane, and in the morning everything went well until I got to Anaheim. And I got to Anaheim and I got an Uber, and I told him, anyway, he takes me to the wrong convention center. Like not just the wrong, hall, the whole wrong, like he's on the opposite end of town.
Oh man.
Get it again and get there. And I finally get there. I think it's like 10 a.m. when I get there. And you just
So
jump
the
right.
event has started.
Oh yeah, the event. I think the first wave was like at 7:30 or 8 o'clock or something like that.
Mhm.
So anyway, but I jump right into it and get going. And yeah, so that was a bit of a rough travel. It was this is two in a row for me now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Bad luck.
and then I got another one in 2 weeks, so we'll see how that one goes. And I got to go through Denver again.
Oh, who are you flying with?
So it was Air Canada to Denver and then United from Denver to Anaheim. But it wasn't the airline's fault. Well, other than the bit at the gate. But I mean, I'm sure that lady was just following the rules, right? Like I'm sure they have rules and guidelines and whatever, and that it is what it is.
Hmm.
But yeah, so it was interesting travel.
Hmm.
The way back was great. Way back went super smooth. But
That's
unfortunately, because of time changes and layovers, I didn't get home until like 12:30, and then I had to be up for 4:30 for work, and I still had to eat and get into bed. That was the other thing when I did when so at the event, I didn't eat all day. I didn't eat till 9:30, like at
hmm
night when I got done, and I ran in between. I'm like, I was like, yes. So
that's not good.
No, Rye has now sent messages to the people at DEKA and saying you must make sure my husband eats. So
Or Dave should just make sure Dave eats.
probably, but I was a little forgetful. I get busy. I get right into it. I get very into it. I feel very,
You need to carry a pack like if you're racing an ultra or something with snacks.
yeah, I probably should. I probably should. And I get so into it and it means a lot to me to do a good job, you know?
Hmm.
So I get, yeah, that stuff kind of ends up getting put on the wayside.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you want to hear about my run?
You're rocked? Sure.
Yeah. So again, last second decision. Um, things were going pretty good. So we looked at the clock and there was about um 2 hours before the elites go. I didn't go with the ruck wave, like the ruck waves that went because I was busy. But after they kind of launched, I'm like, there was a little bit delayed. Like, I'm like, okay, well, we're pretty good. I can go, I can go. So I literally went, grabbed a pack, walked into the start corral, said, hey, I'm in the next wave. There's no more ruck people. It's just regular people.
Hmm.
And away I went with them. And so literally zero warm up again.
Hmm.
And just off I go. It was a good run. I felt pretty good considering I hadn't ate and my training lately has been absolute trash. And I'm tired all the time. I ended up doing a minute and a half faster than I did in Florida.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, it was good. It was like probably about a minute off the run and maybe 30 seconds off the zones,
Hmm.
but I didn't win. Came second,
Yeah, that's good.
but I came second to a cool dude. And he's a good guy, and he earned it. He ran a good race. I wish we both said this. We just wish we could have raced head to head.
Yeah.
Would have been
Yeah.
so much fun because we were 16 seconds apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
would have been a lot of fun. Maybe another day. And he's a guy we were talking. I'm like, I have seen his name on the leaderboard around me so much in like every division. I'm like, oh, there's that guy. There's that guy. And we finally actually met face to face.
Hmm.
So lots of fun. Um, do you want to just keep going and we'll talk about what happened there with,
At DECA?
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. And did you get to watch any of it or no?
I didn't watch any of it. No.
So here's the thing, and I have not watched it yet. It was a one-man show live stream. I've heard there are some issues at the beginning. I don't know. I have not checked it out myself, so I can't speak to it. Uh,
Hmm.
so I can just tell you what I saw being there firsthand. Uh,
Yeah.
and what I saw again, to nobody's surprise, was Lauren being absolutely fucking amazing.
Yeah. So she beat her own world record.
Hmm. And looked really good doing it. Like she was just flying. I think she must have had a 50-meter lead going into the lunges.
Oh,
Like,
well, and I mean, it is her style also
yeah,
to race like that. So,
it was. But what did happen that I don't know if and people really expected this. And no going into it, I mean, we knew Lauren was in miraculous shape, like,
mhm.
and was going to be amazing. And although we know that Vivian Tafuto is good, Vivian right now is at the top of her game. Like she, after Lauren came out with the huge surge in the beginning, Vivian started chipping away. And when they were on the bike, Vivian made up huge ground and actually probably got to within like 20 seconds or so or less than that on the bike.
Mhm.
So she got
Wow.
right there. And then I think Lauren ended up winning by what I think it was less than a minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was 40 seconds.
40 seconds. So I mean, when you consider Lauren just set a world record and Vivian was 40 seconds behind her.
So Lauren Weeks 5K was a 17:02. And then Vivian's 5K was an 18:19. So that's a lot more. So yeah, Vivian definitely hit those stations hard, but
Well, the machines. Vivian is so good on the machines.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they were side by side on the bike, and I think Vivian probably cut 20 to 25 seconds on her on the bike. I
Yeah.
have not looked at the numbers. I'm just guessing in my head from being side by side. You could just see her clawing away at it.
Hmm. Um, Actually, it looks like Lauren's bike time was faster.
There's no way that would have to be a glitch.
Okay.
because there is no
Sorry,
absolutely no.
run. Sorry, zone. Never mind.
Okay,
150.
yeah, yeah. The run I'll buy, but there's no way that the bike was faster. So yeah, she was fantastic. She was
Yeah,
awesome.
she was 25 seconds faster on the bike, Vivian.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then you had like a battle for third between is it Bree Schrader? Have I got that right?
Yep, Bree Schrader and then Katie Duke and Lauren Griffith were all pretty close.
Yeah, they were all pretty close. They were having an epic battle. Bree Schrader reminded me so much of Bridget Brown out there.
Oh, really?
Just not just like her performance, but the way she looked, like the whole thing. I'm like, I even said to Yancy when we were at the farmer's carry, I'm like, man, she is just giving me Bridget Brown vibes galore.
She's a
Just
really good runner.
yeah, yeah, and that was part of it too, right? She played the part. But I believe when we got to the bike really hit her hard. And I think that's what got her. Lauren Griffiths again, and I've spoke to her about this. She goes. I don't know where she goes during the race, but she's working so hard
Mhm.
that it's like she's almost blacked out.
Yeah, well, I mean, and we know she can push herself to that point.
Yeah. I literally was worried about her when I was watching her on the bike. I stood beside her the whole time till she got off because I was and watched her very closely on the next station because I was like, wow, I'm really worried. But she started to come back around
Mm-hmm.
next station. And when I saw her leave the bike and she was a little bit weird, but by the time that run was done, she looked like she was running okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, she goes to that dark place.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
So that was amazing. That was a great race. The men really was the Grayson Kilgore show.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just head and shoulders. But Glenn Race, great job by Glenn Race, and one of the guys who is probably one of the most underrated dudes in DEKA. That's Chaz Hutton.
Yeah. So I just started following him actually because I had not heard of him before.
Well, and that's it. But he's always been there. He's just kind
Hmm.
of been in the background, and he obviously he's good. I mean, if you beat Glenn Race, you're no slouch,
Hmm.
you know.
I just wanted to point out um Grayson's 5K was 17:46, and he was the fastest 5K time. So Glenn Ray was 18:24. So Lauren smashed that run.
Lauren would you watch her when you watch her run, like everyone is just if you go back to her, it's just phenomenal. And everybody in the building was just in awe.
Yeah.
Just in awe and amazement of how fast she is. And like I said, if Vivian hadn't been on her game, that could have been such a walk away win.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's more fun this way, I think. And that was three athletes who are hybrid engine athletes and, you
Hmm.
know, they're good friends. So standing together on the podium.
Oh, well, they were all sitting together beforehand, all sitting together after. Lauren and Vivian were watching Lily while Lauren and
Yeah.
Anthony raced.
Yeah.
So it was great to see. I mean, the hybrid engine is cooking. Is they're doing unreal stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't address this yet. They've been going on about how it was a sellout, right?
Hmm.
And it was a sellout. And I would say, like, as far as an atmosphere and a crowd, it was probably the best one I've seen. Like, it was people were excited, people were hopping, people were having a good time. Um, there was a lot of first timers, a lot of first timers. I'll talk about that in a minute.
That's good though.
Yeah, yeah, it was some gyms coming out in huge force. Like I can't remember the name of one gym. One gym was like a boxing gym, and they must have had 50, 60 people.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I think they were all first timers.
Mhm. Wow.
But they completely were all over the doubles scene. They're like just doubles team after doubles team, all wearing these whatever boxing jerseys or boxing shirts they had. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, but the men, yeah, Grayson was dominant. Chaz was great. Glenn Race was great as always. Glenn Race is such a character. Like you see him go out and run like he does, and then just such a machine. And then later on, we see him sitting off by himself playing chess on his phone. Yes, I don't know. It just seemed weird.
Hmm. Well, and some people kind of need to zone out from the atmosphere because it can be a lot too, and not everybody really enjoys the crowds and stuff. So it could be
Well,
a
it
bit of,
wasn't like a Hyrox crowd, but it was still like, you know, a big crowd.
yeah.
And considering the footprint difference, you know, like it's like a third of the size.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
excuse me, but that was great. But as always, I thought the teams stole the show,
Hmm.
even though it wasn't like a deep field of teams. It was
Hmm.
still very fun to watch. And again, with Lauren and Anthony against Katie and Grayson, like that's a marquee battle, and it was a back and forth battle until probably the okay, here's a problem. Dead ball overs, right?
Hmm.
So when they first made this, it was called dead ball over the wall, right?
Yeah.
Now there's no wall
Hmm.
and there's no dead ball. So what do we call it?
Well, I don't, but it's still called Dead Balls Over,
I
right?
know it is, but we need a new name, Beth. I'm gonna come up with a new name. Think about that. It's very important.
Well, now it's a sandbag, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's one
kind
of
of
those
a big.
pancake bags, which I actually, like I said, I don't mind those.
Yeah.
I do not mind them. Um, they're easy because you can pinch them from the side. I know Vivian mentioned it too. She's like, you said those bags were tough if you have nails, and she showed me her nails and they were all done up. I'm like, I said,
Vivian.
just scoop it. She said, yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But your nails look great, Vivian. Yeah, so they had a great battle. And Grayson and Katie just showed that they are, I believe they set another record, did they not? Made for each other. Yeah.
2704. It could be for co-ed.
Anyway,
I'm
they
not
showed
sure.
why,
Yeah.
yeah, they showed why they're the champs.
Yeah.
And they
They
just there's
freestyled into this. So, we know Lauren obviously focuses on Hyrox, same with Anthony. So,
when they were on the skier, I said to Lauren, Anthony was skiing, and I'm like, this is a race. And she's like, oh my gosh. She, Katie come off the skier in typical Lauren fashion. Oh my God, Katie, you're so fast.
yeah, I'm sure that was a good one to watch. And then we did have a couple in third place who came out of a later heat. So I'm assuming it would have run pretty much by themselves, Regina Stone and Caesar Rangel with a 30-40.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about what happened there. So it seemed like, and this was a bit of a confusing thing. So, um, and a bit of a disappointment for some friends of ours. But
Mhm.
originally, Dustin Needham and Susan Statinsky, I think I got it. I did say Snutinsky, didn't I?
Mhm.
I might have.
Stumbled.
Susan. What
Yeah, no, Susan.
did she used to be? She was Susan
McFarlane.
Farland. Yeah. Anyway,
Mhm.
they originally had the third place podium, but because when we do the race, we get all the teams who are running for the elite, running for the podiums to come forward and to get in the first few waves. So this team either wasn't ready or decided to wait till later or whatever, but they didn't even run till after the podiums had been done. So they did the run and ended up that they did come in third and put in a great race. And they deserved their spot. Sadly, they don't get their pure podium moment. They were awarded third place and they were all that stuff and that. So I mean, it was a bit of a kerfuffle, but I really think, what are you going to do? It's not like they missed their race time because there wasn't an assigned time.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
at the same time, they knew what was happening and they waited. So, other than missing their podium spot, nothing really happens to that. But Susan and Dustin did have that podium spot, and now that it's kind of a little.
Yeah. I mean, with them trying to get the elite podium out of the way, it could happen. I'm assuming this couple has never raced a DEKA fit before to
No, I
really
don't
have any
think so.
idea.
No, they haven't, but they also were very fit. But yeah, and from the post I saw, and I'm going to reach out to them, but it sounds like they're going to be back. They got the bug.
Yeah, good.
It's
That's good.
hard not to when you podium and elite in your first race.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Mhm.
So yeah, I mean that was it. And then for me after that, I like I said, I got back to the hotel at 9:30 and finally ate.
And it was just a 1 day event.
Just a 1 day event for this one. NorCal in Sacramento in a couple weeks. That'll be a 2 day event. They'll be having the Ultra on the second day, as well as there'll be some other runners. But yeah, you'll have the Ultra on the second day. And it's not completely sold out. Age group is sold out. I believe men's elite is sold out. I think there's some room in women's elite and ruck, and I don't know what teams, but teams, there had to be like 300 teams.
Wow.
And it was just like at one time when we're judging, I looked over and I just saw this line of teams just ready to go. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And we had a lot of volunteers. Thank you to everybody who came out and volunteered and judged, and all the athletes who stuck around and did some judging too. It was great. And again, wasn't perfect, but it is still step by step getting better.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, more reviews on the new tank.
Oh, yes. I saw some videos and some people sent me some videos and it seems to be affecting times a fair bit. There's some frustrations with this tank's swivel wheels.
Yeah, so the one good thing I will say, if it is affecting times, it's affecting everybody's time because it was used in the first race. It'll be used in every race throughout the year. So it's even playing field. That's the one thing. Like the tank or not, that at least it's I can tell you straight up that it is fair at least.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm personally am a fan of the pull on it because it just goes wherever you go.
Yeah.
The push, it can wander like mad if you're not careful.
Hmm.
And I mean, you'll see some of the people like I mean, obviously it doesn't affect Katie and Grayson's time, but it definitely is something to get used to. And my recommendation for anyone listening is stay low, right? And look where you want to go.
Yeah, aim it. Yeah. It's not like with the old tanks, the big heavy ones, you can just kind of put your head down and it's not really going anywhere. So,
Yeah, you could put your head down and run.
yeah.
You can, and it's just going to drive. It might off to the side slightly, but it's just going to drive.
Yeah, not like this one.
No, so I mean, like my personal opinion, do I like the old one better? Yes, yes, I do. But I liked the four-wheel one the best. Still the
Hmm.
original one. Um,
Hmm.
is what it is. What are you gonna do when when the company makes a new product? You got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
And I think in a gym setting, that tank or magnetic resistance sled is actually good because it's easy to maneuver, easy to put away, easy to work with. But in this situation where we have more and more together, it is a little bit, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. So we'll
Hmm.
see how the year goes, and I'm sure it'll be revisited to see what will happen for next year.
Yeah.
Um, but it may stay, may not, who knows?
Who knows? We've had a different tank every year, so
That's right, that's right. And the pancakes, I know we've talked about the pancakes. I don't mind them. I find them actually easier.
yeah,
So, and but all in all, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
good.
And I am looking forward to the next one, although that means another couple of long travel days.
Hmm.
But I'm sure it'll be a good time. And that was my first time in California, by the way. I've never been to California. Flying into Orange County, wow, like you see these towns and then mountainsides right beside them and then drop down, and it just is really cool.
Hmm.
It was gorgeous going in. Yeah, I think though, but for DEKA, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I think that was it. It was like I said, all in all, a good experience. And thank everybody for coming out.
Hmm.
Oh, and thank you to everybody who came and talked to me. So many people came and talked to me, and the guy at the airport came and talked to me, and he was really nice. I
Hmm.
felt kind of embarrassed because he was like so nice. He was there with his kid, and they were really into it and having a great time. He is telling me he's one of these people he's trying to chase that age group thing, but gets it's gotten a little stuck.
Hmm.
Anyway, good people. Thank you all for or helping and coming up and talking to me. Um, which High Rocks do you want to go to?
Miami.
You want to go to Miami first?
Yeah.
All right. So you go ahead. I've been rambling, so it's your turn.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend Miami was pretty exciting. Really the races that we were watching was the doubles races. So this was another qualifier for the Elite 15 doubles races. Man, I wished we had some live feeds, but we were just following people's cell phone videos, which
Yeah,
was
yeah.
pretty good though. Um,
Did you see Katie Simonson's?
yeah, yeah, we watched hers. Yeah.
Katie is still the best single woman live stream going.
Mhm.
She's hilarious. Anyway, go on. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen little bits.
Yeah. Yeah, she did a great job. And the course didn't look too crowded, which was nice. And I thought the layout of this one was it was very similar to Toronto, and so the layout was really good. But yeah, the I mean both of the races also were super tight. We knew that they would be. And yeah, the men's race with we had the top three guys all go under the previous record set by Paleo and Rich, and they broke their own record by over 2 minutes on this course. So, and
Over
it's
two
you know,
minutes.
2 minutes,
Man,
yeah. And I don't know if I would have called this a fast course because it did look to me like the sleds were not moving super well. I did hear a lot of comments about it being super humid, which we know can affect the stickiness of some of the sleds.
I think it was
Um,
a big rock zone too. I think I heard that it was a big rock zone.
it would be a pretty big rock zone. Yeah, some of the stations would have been really far from the inn. Again, which was a lot like Toronto. And yeah, but it was just the battle, I think, with these three teams. And there wasn't just these three teams. There was teams, 10 back that were all kind of in there. But yeah, so we had uh and it was really you didn't know for sure who was going to get it
You want me to
the
put it on the screen?
the results?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have them here too.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, so Paleo and Rich really, so it was literally neck and neck with Rylan and Ryan and Paleo and Rich. Um, and Rylan and Ryan put in a little bit, they gapped them a little bit on a sled, and then they put in a lot of work to gap them on the pole, and then Ryan and Rylan made a wrong turn just briefly leaving the station, and then their gap was gone, just like that. So always be really aware of your surroundings. It's honestly part of these races sometimes is to just be really efficient with the in and out, and because these races when it's coming down to seconds like this, you can't kind of lose that time trying to find where you need to go and to get out of the station. So Rich and Paleo really dropped the hammer on burpees, and that would have been where we first saw a true gap. And I think these two guys who are obviously amazing athletes, but two of the smaller runners in the Elite 15 group, they've used their strengths to really like capitalize on the running, and then burpees again, which is, no weight involved. And yeah, they were flying on these burpees. So that was the first time they really gapped them. And then they just kind of managed that gap. And yeah, so then they won by what is it, a minute 20 in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um yeah, and then after that, this third place team did pull away from the group. So the two fastest brothers in Hyrox here, Ben Sutherland and Harry Sutherland. Um
How cool would that be?
yeah,
To like qualify to High Rocks Worlds with your brother
yeah.
or yeah, sibling.
Yeah, so yeah, we did have some other great teams in here, like Colin Steeford, Jack Driscoll, Dave Magida, Mark Goddett, like they're
Newbie and
Jared.
Hayden,
What's that?
Jarrett Newbie and Hayden.
Yeah. And this other team, Sierra and Parkinson and Tony Revel, I've heard they are going to go to the next one, so they could still get a qualifying spot there. So yeah, it was really and Noah Olson, Chandler Smith were in there. Their running would just obviously we didn't really think they would be in that top three, but
Very
I
respectable.
yeah, I saw Noah Olson actually made a post saying he enjoyed it much more than he thought he would. So
I saw Chandler's. I just read a post just before after I got home. He said that he enjoyed doing something fitness again. Imagine that.
yeah, just fitness. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think this team too, Colin Steefer and Jack Driscoll, I do think that they have the potential to go much faster. Jack Driscoll did run a marathon 6 days before,
Mhm.
um, which, as much as we think we recover like superhumans, that's still in your legs. So, and he didn't by any means run that marathon slow. So it was like a 2:46. So I do think there would be more in the tank for Colin, who we know is a phenomenal athlete too, and Jack Driscoll. So hopefully we see them again at another one.
Yeah, I think definitely you will. Do want to shout out Cole Dorn and Jay Muscard who went down there and threw down for the Canadians.
Yeah, our Canadian
We
boys, Cole and Jay. I know Jay seemed to be struggling a little bit,
mm,
putting up on the run. So I think his fitness might just not be up where he would want it to be. So they're further back maybe than they would have wanted to be.
yeah, I think Jay might be suffering from a similar thing as you and I are right now, is in just being so incredibly busy.
Yeah.
And that happens. But I don't think we've ever even put out a lot. And I don't know if we ever really officially even congratulated Cole when he ran that 57.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I really talked about it.
Yeah, because like it was kind of almost under the radar. It was like, but he literally, and we don't usually talk about Canadian records or not, but literally just blew the Canadian record out of the water.
Hmm.
And I think I'm going to say to me, a little bit surprising to me. I did not think he would have the running legs to pull that off.
Hmm.
And so good for him. Um, so Rich and Paleo, Rylan and Ryan Kent, and the Sutherland brothers, um, not Kiefer Sutherland, no, the other Sutherland brothers, the important ones, Ben and Harry, will all be going to Worlds, and that was what was important to this. This was the top three qualifiers go to Worlds, and I, for one, am Rich and Paleo were both going to be there in the Elite 15, but I'm happy for them. They're both good guys. But Rylan, who was going for the Elite 15, I'm happy for him. But Ryan Kent, who was not going to get a chance to go for the Elite 15, I'm super happy that he is going to be able to go to Worlds and throw down and on a formidable team,
Yeah.
like having a legit podium shot. So
Hmm.
I'm excited for them for that. And for the rest of the guys that went, just made it an amazing race.
Yeah.
But I think more so the main event of the day, at least in my book, was going to be the women. I just was excited about their lineup. That is not the one we want.
Yeah. The overall result. Yeah.
Pro doubles. There we go. All right. Here you go.
Yeah.
Have at it, Beth.
Yeah. Again, this was another head to head, like neck and neck race with Jess Petro, Maria Fessick on one team, Bridget Brown and Tara Jackson on another team. And, we have Bridget and Tara who are phenomenal runners, Jess and Maria who are in that Elite 15. And it did look like Bridget and Tara were pulling away. And then it came down to wall balls, which I mean, Maria and Jess are just had a faster cycling speed. And the little things too, like their transitions with the wall balls were faster. And they did end up passing Bridget and Tara on the wall balls at the end. But yeah, what that super exciting race too, literally in and out of stations the exact same time, like the whole way. And then after that, it was again, there was a bit of a gap established with the third place team to fourth, with Chris Rogloski and Katie Simonson coming in third there. But then, yeah, we had some other really good teams. Like we know Alex Shabo is a great athlete with Katie Howell. We had also uh, Catherine Fossbender. Her partner ended up passing out, I think on burpees.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently she was struggling on like sleds and then actually physically passed out on burpees.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
And
which
they were a good team too.
yeah, and they were in that mix also with Chris Rogowski and Katie, and her partner may have just overextended, and then with the humidity factor. But I mean, Catherine ended up jumping in an open race to
Mhm.
kind of make good use of her day and ran a 58:30. So
Yeah, yeah. Catherine, so right now I view Catherine kind of like I viewed Vivian a couple years ago.
Mm.
You know, like she's just another year or so away from being this right up there for us. She I think she has the tools.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Um,
and then we got to mention the DNS, the did not start of Meg and Camilla. Meg,
oh right.
yeah,
Yes, I got sick.
yeah, but like so I had a little chat with her and she was violently ill.
Mhm.
It wasn't one of these like, oh, I'm a little under the weather. She was like unable to keep anything down, like overnight. I spoke with her a little bit today. She said she's still not quite right, but she is much better. But yeah, she said she was just toast. She said it was terrible. It was a word we like she figures probably some sort of food poisoning, but she figures it was the worst case of anything like that she's ever had.
Wow. Oh, that's so awful. But they're gonna go and race in London, I
Yes.
believe.
Yeah, yeah. She confirmed that to me. They're gonna go race in London and that'll be good. That'll be some good one. And also the other did not start was Rebecca Hammond and Nicole Miracle, who I believe as well are going to London.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know why I didn't hear anything, but
I'm not entirely sure either, but I think it's probably for the better for them. It just gives them more time to prepare. You know,
yeah, I am really excited to see them race. So
they just have a lot of catching up to do as far as stations and stuff. And then to go back when you were talking about Jess and Maria and passing Bridget and Tara, I think right there might be just be a case of, especially with Bridget, like Jess and Maria having so many reps lately with the wall balls and racing head to head so much with the wall ball. You know, I think that might just be a case of that might be why they got it, is they're just a little more experienced right now. Tara obviously has done tons of the races, but wall balls have never been her strength.
no.
And so I could see why that might happen there.
Hmm.
There are
Yeah. I mean,
very
Maria's an athlete too who could have just gone in and did them unbroken. And at one point I wondered
hmm.
if she might have to pass them, and then they managed to pass them without her having to do that. So
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. You're right. And I wonder, I was thinking too, that was something that back to the men that Rich and Paleo, if they were in danger, could have done was gone in there and let Rich give it a go to go unbroken as well.
hmm.
Because that is a weapon in his arsenal, and not too many of the men have that one for some reason.
Yeah.
But and I'll say straight up, is there like for me, I'm looking at this, there's not too many full-blown podiums that make me much happier than this one. Like they're just all, I mean, like playing favorites and all. I mean, obviously Maria and Tara and Katie and like and Bridget, just them super big fans of all of these women, and it just
And
it's a
some Canadians, our two Canadian girls.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so I mean, it made me happy when I heard. I hadn't, like I said, I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but just when I heard the podium, I was like, oh, like yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so exciting. I do feel for Megan Camilla very much, but I also feel very confident that in London, if you're a female doubles team in London, you're probably shooting for second and third.
Yeah.
So just just be prepared. Because the one team I thought over from Europe that would really give them a run, and I guess we can go to that. Or is there anything else you want to say about this one here?
No,
No. All right, so we can go to Paris.
the doubles races in Paris were wild.
Yeah.
Like way more depth that I would say.
Women or
Just
men? Where do you want to start?
what's that?
Women or men? Where do you want to
Go
start?
to the men. The men's race was the one for me where just looking at the stats. Um, yeah. So yeah, we had the top. Is this it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
all of our men here from in that top 10 are basically within a minute and 20 seconds. And so this team here, Roberto Cameno and Luis Rubio, they won from a second or third heat,
Mhm.
beating Bo Wills and Bianchi by 2 seconds. So they thought they had it, and then this later team, and so these two guys here, though, Roberto and Luis, they have phenomenal solo times on their own. Like, they've done 56 minutes in open, and they've have experience, lots of experience racing Hyrox. So it's no surprise to me that they ran this fast. I think when you look at this list though of the teams that they beat, we have at least
That's the
50,
kicker right there. It's not who qualified, it's who didn't.
yeah, like we have Bo Wills there with Eugenio in second, and then Janik Zapla with Tim Vinich. I think if I was betting, I probably would have put them in first.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking the difference of 15 seconds. Like all these 10 teams would have been at the wall balls at the same time.
Not just 10. I think all the way down to 16.
Yeah, so we're still in 16th place, still only, I mean, 90 seconds
Yeah.
different. Like that's so crazy.
So
And
soon
then we
because
have
what do wall balls take? 3 minutes?
like 3 minutes. Yeah.
So we're down to
20th.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much
the
20,
20 team.
yeah, 17th. Do you think 17th? Well, 53-22 to 50-27. So 21 people, 21 teams theoretically could have been on the wall balls at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then we have a team here with Jonathan Wynn and Graham Holiday, and they're sixth.
Yeah, Jake Williams and Aaron Travas, seventh.
Yeah.
Lucas Storath and Thiago Lusa. Thiago Lusa podiumed at Worlds a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Lucas Storath is like the original man of Hyrox.
Yeah.
Um,
Jeffrey Bison and Guillaume Lavoie, ninth. Peter Schiller and Kieran White, 10th. Like these are this
they're
is a very stacked field of men here.
oh yeah, it's probably the most even down here in 22nd, Dieter Schwartzkopf.
Hmm.
Like these, this is probably the most stacked men's field.
Yeah. Our fourth place team, Alan KO and Thomas Fry. Like,
Is
yeah, so this men's race, when I was looking at the list after I heard that a team from a later heat had bumped out first by 2 seconds, and I was just looking at these names, like that is a crazy race, which just makes me even more excited for this race at Worlds. We're gonna have all the teams in the wall balls at the same time.
and what does this prove? This proves that the concept of allowing any team to compete, not having that just your top 15 run to qualify for Worlds like they do with the solos. To me, this just, I shouldn't say proves because people will go, whatever. It just reinforces in my mind that this is a far better system
Then
than
just
having than the
being
way they
separate.
do the solos.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because Roberto and Louis would never have gotten a chance,
Yeah.
right? And to me, it just shows like now they might podium at Worlds and they wouldn't have gotten a chance.
Right. Hmm.
I think to me it just reinforces that.
Yeah.
Um,
It does make sense.
it's always made sense.
Hmm.
And Saturday, the women.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this one, if I was betting, I would have put Linda Meyer and Viola
Oh,
Oberlander in first. They,
100% me too.
yeah, they had more of a gap than in that men's race. And they ran 55:39, which is very fast. And then Sika Arning and Rebecca Frank behind them, which, again, but this third place team was probably a bit more of a shock. So I'll also now we have sisters.
Sisters.
Yeah, which is kind of cool too. So Margot Vanden Linden Loof and Charlotte.
Nice. Well done.
You
And
know?
Charlotte Vanden Lindenloof.
Yep. You
I,
just wanted to say
I did. I did. And I wouldn't have got it right if you hadn't said it before.
it. But yeah, and then again, we have some teams in here with Jezebel Kramer and Monza
Dina
Ciro,
Hogan. Yeah, Dina
yeah,
Hogan.
Tina Hogan in there, and
Tanya Strohschneider. She's been in the Elite 15. She was in the last race, Elite 15. She's that triathlon woman.
Yeah, Jonna, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so some great teams too, but the women's race was a bit more spread out. You know,
Jana
our
Livingston.
yeah, Jonna there in 13th with her partner. So yeah, Linda Meyer and Viola, I think. And Viola has said she doesn't feel like she's in her best form she could be right now. So this will be a team that will be in contention to win at Worlds.
Yeah, well, you're talking about a couple of women who normally would be fighting for that third place in the solo podium,
Yeah.
and then they're running together. I think that right now they are the scariest women's team.
Hmm.
You know, and not obviously not seeing what Meg and Camilla have done yet, will do yet, but these are two women as well that know each other very well, that work
Yeah.
together very well. They've teamed up many times. They've been doing Hyrox. They've both been involved since almost day one.
Yeah.
They're a terrifying team. They're really good.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And yeah, I just wish there had been full streams of these things
Hmm.
because I, I just think I think at Worlds it's gonna steal the show from solo.
Oh yeah, this is going to be so exciting.
Yeah. And it'll steal the show and it'll prove I was right again. Well, it's just the doubles are just so much fun to watch. And
They are.
here's the thing, and this is I was talking about this with someone on the weekend, and the Hyrox doubles, it's more like just like I mean, how did I word it? The DEKA relay, you can use this strategy, and you're very familiar with this strategy of like a tank and a turbo.
Yeah.
You can't do that with Hyrox. It's a little bit different. So it makes watching them very interesting because they're very different in the strategy and in the way things play out. So I really enjoyed the differences between the two and the
Uh,
no
It's a
entertaining.
very hard race too, because you are both having to run, and no one ever is getting long breaks unless you have two athletes who are very unevenly matched and someone has to like take the whole row or something. But I mean, this is having to always run 1Ks, both of you together. It's a hard race.
And they're not slow 1Ks. Like when you're doing a solo, you're a little more paced, right? You're trying to pace yourself a little more. When you're out there in the doubles, you're just hauling ass.
Hmm.
It's like die for as long as I can die.
Yeah.
Just a little bit on the zone and then just haul. And oh,
Yeah. There's so much strategy involved.
hmm there is. And it just makes for a great race. Um, so other High Rocks news. Toronto announces their date finally.
Yes.
It was October 3rd through the 5th.
Yes, so it's a 3-day event. Um, and we don't know yet the schedule, which is kind of tricky. I wish they would have just released all the information at one time.
Yeah, but I think if they did that, we'd be probably waiting for like High Rocks the way they do these things, right? It's like,
Yeah, but for registration purposes. So if
yeah,
you want
well,
a solo and a doubles race, you kind of have to know when your doubles races are going to be.
yeah, that's true. I'm thinking it'll probably be like it'll be split over the 3 days, and you'll probably be able to do a lot of it on any day.
Yeah.
My personal hope is that I can run the Pro Wave on the Friday and
Yeah.
then get in doubles and a relay later in the weekend
Yeah.
because I am not conditioned to run two High Rocks in one day. And I will not be conditioned by October to do said thing because that's not my main goals. So I will just be happy to get through one on each day.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. So, and it is the same venue, right?
My understanding, yep, same venue, which is great because it was a terrific venue.
Yeah.
It's fairly easy to get to, even from the airport. You can take the train down from the airport.
Yeah.
Good parking. The weather is usually pretty good around that time of year too, so it should be all right. Well, I should say it's very early in October, so
Yeah.
it's
I
when
mean,
Halloween should be.
hmm?
It's when I've always said Halloween should be.
Yes, that's true.
Better weather for the kids. So it should be another great event. My question to you, 3-day event. How long do you think it'll take to sell out? Because last time it didn't sell out right away. It took like a few months. It was only one day, and then we added the second day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do think it's going to sell out. We even just the interest within my own gym,
Mhm.
uh, after having seeing all their friends race it last time, how long will it take to sell out? I think oh, that's tough to say, but
I still think it'll take me guessing about a month.
really?
Yeah, I do. I do. Like it'll be a huge close to sellout, and then it'll take like a month for the rest to peter out. The problem
Right.
is though, if
There'll
you
be
wait,
some things that will sell out fast, like men's open or the ones that sell out the fastest,
yeah, if you wait, you might not get
or the relay.
yeah. Oh, I got shafted on that one before. Um
That we did too.
yeah, so that'd be yeah. I would say just look if you want to go, just get on it right away. Don't dick around. Or you
Mhm.
can get left out in the cold.
Yeah.
And I know even like you say about just from your gym getting more, even there's even some farm girls interested.
Hmm.
And that's not something that would have happened last year.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. It'll be another exciting event. My basement is available for rent for like $1,000 a night.
$1,000.
You can get a shuttle in the mighty minivan. You just can't have the one spare room because Tara takes that one. So yeah, my spare room of doom.
Hmm.
So many we've worked it out. There's like I don't know how many world championships stayed in that room. CrossFit Games stayed in that room. Like
Yeah.
a lot of big credentials in that room. Speaking of CrossFit, real quick, and I sent you guys that race. What'd you think?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. An 800-meter run in a virtual
Yeah,
competition.
yeah. That
Oh my
doesn't
gosh.
that doesn't need
Disa-
to be videoed.
The run does not need to be videoed.
No, yeah. So did you hear the whole message? Let me break it down basically, because well,
No, because
even
I accidentally then pocket dialed you and I panicked.
why would you panic?
Because you put it, because I'm looking at my face all of a sudden. So because it was a video call.
So here's the layout basically, and I could get a little bit off with the reps of the movements and stuff, but basically they're going to start in the gym or around their rig, like a pull-up bar rig, and they're going to have a start line. Then they're going to run an 800 meter of pretty much any kind they want. They could do
Can they
um,
do it on the assault runner?
no,
Okay.
but they could do like you know 16 50-meter shuttles. Like yeah, they can pretty much do anything. So they got to do that. Then they come back in. They do between a team of four. They do 100 pull-ups. Then they go do another 800, come back, do 100 chest to bars, and then I think they go and do another one and they do 100 muscle ups. I might be off on that one, on the numbers. Anyway, but from my understanding, when they're doing the muscle ups, pull-ups, and chest to bars, they need to be like standard virtual event videos, right? You got to be able to see them. You got to be able to see reps cleanly, all that stuff. But the running doesn't have to be videoed.
So then how do they verify that they ran 800 meters?
That's a solid question.
Oh boy.
So apparently, the answers right now are that if requested, you must be able to submit like a GPS of your layout and a video of your layout, but not actually a video of the people running said layout. How many people are going to fucking cheat at this?
Oh, yeah, yeah, a lot.
A lot. Like, how many are literally going to run out of the door, have a
Especially
smoke?
because, yeah, it's the one thing, I mean, we know a lot of CrossFitters that do not like to run. So we're kind of giving them the opportunity or to like accidentally measure 700 meters, which we know happens sometimes in CrossFit.
Yards. And how
Yeah,
can CrossFit get mad at them if they do it? That would be hypocritical.
I know. Oh, I don't like it at all.
I do because I think it's hilarious and it's going to amuse me. It will probably provide me with another month of entertainment. But yeah. How can you, as an organizer of an event who have more experience with virtual events than anybody in the world,
Yeah.
thinking that this is a good idea.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to taunt people into like cheat and then, we'll see how bad you really are when you get there. Because then there's going to be like a lot of running or something in the team races at the games.
So here's the thing, and it is possible to set this up that it could work. However, especially because it's a team, it would take so much effort and work to analyze all the information that you'd never get through. You need an army of people analyzing data to make sure. Because basically what you'd have to do is you'd have to have, and here's another thing, by the way, GPS sucks for measuring things. It's never right.
Yeah.
People could be 50, 60 meters off of each other
Hmm.
easily. And if you don't believe me, take your GPS watch, run around the track 3 times or 4 times and see if you hit a mile.
Right.
Because you could
Hmm.
be easily 100 meters above, 200 meters below. You don't know, right?
Hmm.
That's why OCR Stars went to shit when he did that one where everybody ran around the track and used their GPS because people were finishing on completely the other side of the track when they should have finished on the same side. So
Yeah.
anyway, but let's just say for argument's sake that it did work. So then you'd have to have the video, right? Then you'd have to have a video of the layout, and then you'd have to analyze each athlete's data, ensuring that one, they ran the distance properly, but also that they ran it. So that means you have to look at their cadence as well. So you got to dig in there because so that they didn't use a bike or a scooter or something else like that,
Right.
right? Or
Hmm.
roller skates or whatever else. So you have to analyze that data. So you'd have to do that for 4 people for every team. And then on
Hmm.
top of that, watch all their bloody reps. And it's just a bad, bad idea. But it's so funny.
Well, we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. What's going to happen is a giant clusterfuck of cheaters. Yeah, I mean, they're going to just walk out of the building and stand there, wait 3.5 minutes. Good. Walk back in and start ripping out pull-ups. And for those of you who think people are better than that, no, people are shit. They will totally do it. How many people get caught cheating at CrossFit now?
I know. I know.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. I think when given the opportunity, there are people that just, they push the boundaries for sure.
Yeah. And
Look, make it easy for them.
like I'm all for being efficient in setups and doing it right. Like, I mean, we've tried so hard at Farm Girl to make sure where our setup is as fast as possible, but within the rules,
Yeah.
right? We've done how many virtual comps have you and I done? And I painstake over how I get my setup so I get every transition as quick as I can. But that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Here's another question I have for CrossFit Open stuff and virtual stuff. I don't know if you're aware of this, but for the semifinals, people who were in the semifinals solo, they needed to have a one judge who had who had level one CrossFit and level one judge and a level two judging, right? So they had to have all three of those quals, and then a second judge with the same quals to be an overseer judge. So they had to have
Is.
2 judges, right? So if you were just you doing it on your own at your gym, you would need these 2 judges there. Now, if you, me, Jeff, Riley, we're all doing it at your gym, we would each need our own individual judge plus that overseer judge. And they would all have to have these quals, right?
Hmm.
And these quals are like not well, okay, so the basic judging one's easy to get. The next judging one's a little harder. The level one is a coaching quality. It's got nothing to do with judging, but you have to have it because CrossFit needs money. So it was crazy. But what seems to be, and that seems to be okay to ask CrossFitters to do, but what's not okay is to ask them to have a person who can actually just video right. Every CrossFit video is like one tripod stand and it just stands there and you don't see everything. Like when I did
Yeah.
all my Hyrox virtual stuff, Rye videoed it so that you would see the reps properly.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even if they don't have time to check everybody's video, at least do random checks.
Yeah, so what they did this year was and this again, you're kind of counting on the people on the internet being good. They made, and this part I like. They made every video, you had to make every video public. That should have been that way a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was great. And then there was like you could vote like approve or you could vote needs review,
Hmm.
but you didn't have to put why. I mean, you actually couldn't put why if you needed a review. You didn't put who you were. You didn't put when a problem was. So people could just go like to all the videos around them and put need review, need review, need review, need review, need review. And they could vote multiple times and stuff. Like I heard on another podcast that I think his name's Jason Grubb, I think his name is. He's a master's CrossFitter. And he had 60 um no review needs reviews or something like that. And only 14 people had watched the video.
Oh, weird. Hmm.
So I mean, yeah. So
Yeah.
this was anyway. So there's a lot of fucked up shit going on with that system. So yeah, CrossFit's still doing interesting CrossFitty stuff. That's
Yeah.
it. I really still hope Carolyn makes it because
Yeah. I mean, it's looking good for her so far.
yeah, she did really good in the open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I know that if she doesn't make the regular one, she's gonna go do masters.
Oh, good.
So
Masters is over 35 with CrossFit, right?
yeah. And she's just there this year. This will be her first year eligible. And I think they are doing it in Columbus, Ohio. So
Oh,
for her, that's not a bad travel. Like she could actually drive it, so
yeah.
it'll keep it cheaper and available. Yeah, Columbus, Ohio for masters, and Albany, New York for nice face.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people made that face when they heard Albany.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um, do you know what day it is?
nope,
Also,
nah.
so it's Marathon Monday.
I don't even know a marathon. What's Marathon Monday?
Well,
Boston.
that could have been her name.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, you could have been Marathon Monday. Maybe another day.
You
Marathon
didn't even,
Monday Mama.
yeah.
Stop.
It's,
Why are you throwing out gold here? What are you doing?
you got to write it down. Save it for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston Marathon
Oh, the
happens on,
Boston.
yeah, Patriots Day on Monday. So it was like a perfect weather, perfect day. I'm mentioning our Canadian boy Rory Linkletter. He was sixth, which is a very high place for a Canadian kid. So he was in that top group for a while. And then we had so John Career won for the men. He's the brother of Wesley Career, who won it a bunch of years back. So the first time two brothers have ever won Boston. Wesley Career actually married a girl I used to race against, Tara McKay, a
Wow.
Kenyan girl. Yeah, they live in Kenya now.
Hmm.
But yeah, what's that?
Hmm.
She doesn't race anymore. She's a mom and yeah. But yeah, it was
Moms
it
can
was
race, Bethany. Don't put that out there.
no, maybe she races there. No, she can. She doesn't, as far as I know. Like, she's not in the international scene anyways. But yeah, and then I mean the women's race, we didn't have a Canadian in the top 10, but the top three women broke the course record actually by it was broken by 2 minutes. So it was a really I always like watching the marathon. I can watch people run for hours, so it's fine.
That's interesting. It's that you sound like me when I watch like race car driving and everybody like how can you watch people go in circles for hours? But yeah, I if I had a rooting interest, I could watch the whole marathon.
Well, and if you kind of knew the people a
Yeah.
little bit, a little bit of a connection to some of them.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say too, though, the coverage for such a major marathon was really frustrating. And Boston is so much about the winner that I just wish that sometimes you would pan back. There's so much race happening outside of just the winners, but never once did we get to see any athletes outside of the top people. And it was for some people, it was a really um like a big day. We had Des Linden, who won Boston in 2018. This was her farewell marathon as a pro. She was super emotional about it. She did really well. She was 17th. She won the year that it was like a snowstorm and half of the elite women dropped out with hypothermia, because she trains in northern Michigan. And the year Chris, she was the same year Krista Duchenne, our Canadian, came third. Again, because
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
being able to handle. But yeah, so anyways, there's a lot that goes on, and we actually within the coverage there was times when we were seeing the announcers more than we were the racers. So I was yelling at my
This
team.
is sounding like to me like old OCR or old Spartan coverage.
Yeah, where you're just watching the announcers talk, and you're like, you
What?
could show anything, any of the runners, even like
Yeah.
show some of the masses once in a while. Like, just I don't want to watch the spectators talk.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I remember being frustrated with that. I would even, especially with Boston Marathon, where there's so much money. Like they got cash. And
Right,
all they need is a couple of drones flying around over the masses. And even if let's say you lose your shot of the leader and you're just showing the masses and the dude, like the commentary can talk there. I'd rather see the masses running
right.
along than looking
Or have
at
a couple
people
cameras.
that,
Yeah, the chase pack, the people in ninth, 10th place.
yeah,
Yeah.
fans on the side of the course.
Yeah,
And
like imagine sitting at home watching it and then seeing like your friend or whatever who's in, like 150th place. Like that would be so exciting.
I love seeing their signs.
yeah, the signs of the Boston Marathon. They have good signs on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Signs are the signs on the Boston Marathon, the signs on the side of the road. Would they be the equivalent to like Super Bowl commercials for football?
Like entertainment factor.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, people are very creative.
And you don't have to pay like $1 billion for 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just you could do so much more with broadcasting something like that.
And it doesn't seem like a very difficult one to do compared, like especially with like I said, when they have the funds available.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so you said was it Des Linden is retiring? Is
Yes.
retiring?
Yeah.
Back to CrossFit, Tia Toomey has sort of announced her retirement.
From CrossFit though, right?
So, yes.
Yeah.
She's going to do the Torian Classic, which is the like games qualifier down in Australia.
Hmm.
And that'll probably be it. You know, she wouldn't put like the complete exclamation stamp that I will never be back. But yeah, yeah, that seems to be it.
It's probably a scary thought for her too.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
can she, the thoughts kind of, can she really just, walk away? And a lot of times we see it too, where people retire and then they kind of they have to come back because, they feel like maybe they're not quite done. So yeah, we'll see.
I think though for her, I think she'll be okay with it one because she does like to do so many different things. And she is moving into another very adjacent sport. And she's won 7 championships.
Yeah, she's kind of done all you can do, really.
Yeah, like what is going back and winning an eighth one going to prove?
Yeah.
Nothing, right? She won like 6 and then took a year off, had a baby, came back and won another.
Yeah.
There's
No unfinished business, anyways.
no, for sure. So anyway, CrossFit's loss is Hyrox's gain.
Sure is. Yeah, and she's pretty focused. So she's going to be racing with Newberry again. Yeah, next weekend? No, it's a couple of weeks. I forget. She said there's another one coming up that
It's
she's
like
going to be.
7 Hyrox every weekend.
I know, I can't keep up anymore.
It used to be that we could do that. Like, oh, there's a Hyrox this month, and we could lay it out and look at. Now there's like 3 or 4 in a weekend, and I'm like, I'm lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still a good thing.
Great.
But yeah, all right. I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Yes, we'll let you get some rest now. Thanks everyone so much for listening. It was an exciting weekend of racing and yeah, just lots going on right now. So, and happy Easter to everyone who celebrated this weekend as well.
Take care.